What's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys our final review of Dealing with Demons 1 by DevilDriver. So we've listened to this album for a week non-stop, and I'm gonna say that this album is actually pretty good. It feels like a solid album. Now, one of the funniest things, and I'm just gonna talk about one of the biggest things for me that changed last week is what one of my favorite songs ended up being, which we reacted to and hated it, but Iona is actually one of my favorite tracks on this album. And I think the reason for that is probably the same reason why I think this album's solid. It's just the riffing. I think the biggest feature for this album that will stand out is the riffs. The guitar riffs are really cool and interesting. They don't feel like they get stale overall. That song, I just dig it the whole time. It's a nice groove. It's cool stuff going on for like almost the whole song.
Interesting, because that song actually grew on me too. I wouldn't say it's my favorite song, but I went from thinking it was kind of trash, to be honest, to be harsh but honest, kind of trash to, yeah, this is not bad. And I attribute that to not paying attention to the lyrics, because the lyrics is what killed it for me at the beginning, because they were flashing on the screen when we did the reaction video, and the lyrics are very bad, like just juvenile, kind of just pointless, I don't know. Very poorly written song. I'm being harsh, that's just my opinion. But yeah, it grew on me when I stopped thinking about the lyrics. I was just like letting the sound of the song just flow through me. I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty good. So it grew on me. Not my favorite, but it's interesting that that was a song that grew on you as well.
The only part of the lyrics that I really could stick with is the chorus where he says she carries a black rose, which I don't mind. Like, I'm hearing that, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of sick.
Yeah, like when you hear little parts that pop out at you, you're like, okay, that's not bad.
Like
I hear the lyrics as a whole. Like, I don't remember what they are, but I just remember they were kind of cringy.
Yeah, I didn't read them because if I did, I was scared of ruining the song for myself.
Anyway, you want to know another song that actually did that to me? Was You Give Me a Reason to Drink. The lyrics on that song, because even like in the chorus he's screaming, it sounds like he's saying turn the water to wine.
Yeah.
But wine has two syllables.
I noticed that too, and I did not like that at all. It's like wine.
Or it sounds like he's saying turn the water to water. Or it's like, I didn't know, and I didn't want to look it up because I was afraid of seeing something just so bad that I was gonna just want to shit all over it. But that's a song actually that really started to like do the opposite of grow on me. I really started to not like that song.
Well, that song for me, there's only one thing about it that I really enjoyed, and that's the main riff. I kind of liked how it sounded, but other than that, I'm just like, eh. It's cool that Des Fafara got his son to feature on this song. I think that's cool, but I honestly could not tell who was singing. I did not notice any difference. It just sounded like one thing. Like, I'm like, where's the feature, you know?
That's the problem I have, is that he got this feature, his son, and you don't know it.
Where is it?
Now, on the first impression, I thought I was hearing a different voice. I thought I was hearing like a deeper growly type of voice, but throughout the week listening to it, I'm like, was I imagining that, or was it just on a different set of speakers I was listening to and it was more pronounced? I don't know, but you don't hear them. They sound the exact same.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not different enough to the point where you need them both on the same track.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like, with a feature, usually you kind of like a different enough voice to kind of give something cool to the song. But if they sound like the exact same voice, then it's like, what's the point of doing that at all?
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool idea. It just did not really sound that great. Now, I said Iona grew to be one of my favorite songs, but it is not my number one track. My number one is probably Vengeance is Clear. Vengeance is Clear, which is the second track on the album. This song, like throughout the entire song, sounded great. It hits hard. It's such a fun listen, and it does one thing that a lot of the songs don't do, and that's grab me for 100% of the time. There are a lot of moments on this album that are cool, but they are the only real things that super stand out about the songs. And a good example of that is the next track, Nest of Vipers. This is a good song. I would say this is overall a good song, but the bridge is sick. I love that bridge so much, and when that song comes on, that's the main thing I want. I don't really care as much for the rest of the song, just get to the bridge. It's sick what they do, I love it. So, but Vengeance is Clear doesn't have that issue. Throughout the whole song, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so for me, during the beginning of the week, like first half of the week, the first half of the album was really shining to me. Like, from basically track 1 to track 5 was highlight for me. And the rest of the songs kind of just kept feeling like they were just fillers almost. But then I started really trying to focus more on the second half of the album, and it really started to shine and outshine the first half. So for me, Vengeance is Clear is cool, but it was okay. Nest of Vipers, okay. Keep Away From Me, the first track, grew on me a bit, but wasn't my favorite. My favorite song ended up being the title track, Dealing with Demons. That song, for some reason, just kept growing on me, growing on me, growing on me. I think there's two things that attribute to that. Number one, the guitar solos. They really grew on me, but I don't love them because they start off really good. The tones of the guitar in the solos are awesome, really, really tasteful. The beginning of the solos are really good, and then they get really just kind of sloppy and they feel unfinished. And I was really disappointed in that because I kept listening to it going, please let this second half of the solo just grow on me. But even listening to it today earlier, I was like, I hate the fact that he just goes wonky with this thing. Starts off so good, then he just ruins it. A little bit disappointing. But the rest of the song and the first half of the solo is awesome. Mainly attributed to the drumming. Because I'm listening to the drumming and the way, the stuff this guy's doing, he's just kind of all over the kit, and I feel like this would be a really fun song just to play. It's just very busy, but it's not like, it wouldn't be like an extreme workout type of busy. It's just, you keep you moving and stuff like that. Some good footwork, lots of stuff on the, just going on with the cymbals and stuff like that. It just sounds fun, right? At the same time sounding mean.
I think we really underrated the drumming on this album in our first impressions. I think the guy did a great job at utilizing every aspect of his drum set.
For sure.
And I think it's very active and it's not, the same thing over and over. Like, it's actually really good. And I don't think we really noticed it as much in our first impressions, but as the week went on, I'm like, yeah, he's doing a bunch of neat stuff here. Kind of just slipped under my nose.
Yeah, I can't remember the DevilDriver drummer's name. I think his name's Johnny something or John. I can't remember. Even if it's the same guy, I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. I don't think they've switched drummers, but I've always liked his style. He's always had, I wouldn't say unique, but he's kind of a finessed style. And he does some pretty technical stuff. Like even in the next song, The Damn Don't Cry, which is another song that grew on me. Very technical with the rhythms. A lot of syncopated grooves, a lot of, that's the song with the time signatures bouncing around and stuff like that. It's another song that grew on me. So I'd say the second half of the album, I don't know if it's better than the first half, because You Give Me a Reason to Drink is a flop. And I also think the last song, Scars Me Forever, not a flop, but it's also a song that just kind of came and went. Nothing stood out to me, nothing grabbed me. It just was a filler song to me. But there's some gems in the second half.
What did you think of Witches? After listening to this album for a week, what did you think of that song? 'Cause that's another one in the second half. So if you're saying the second half's stronger, what?
Yeah, so Witches is good. It grew on me a bit, but it still felt just almost like a filler song. And I'm using that term maybe a little loosely, because there just wasn't a lot to really comment on about that song. It's just there. It sounds good. So it's kind of groovy. It's got cool riffs. All the songs got pretty cool riffs, so it kind of fits in a cool zone there. But yeah, it's just there, man. I don't really have a lot I can say about it.
I feel the same way towards that song. There was just it wasn't a bad song. I can't call it bad, but there was nothing about it that was really any remarkable, especially compared to other songs that had stuff that really grabbed me. Interesting that you said that the second half was better than the first half, because I felt the opposite.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's better. Let me clarify that. I just want to say that it grew on me to the point where I was enjoying it more than I enjoyed it before. So just to kind of clarify that. The first half does have some stronger songs, but overall it's maybe pretty consistent.
Honestly, for me, tracks 6 through 10, the only one that I really enjoyed was the title track, which I still love. It's still one of my favorites on the album. Awesome song.
Yeah.
But You Give Me a Reason to Drink, I liked the riff, but that's kind of it. Witches, nothing. The Damn Don't Cry didn't really stand out to me much, even though it had a bunch of technical things to it. And Scars Me Forever, I honestly can't tell you, if you're asking me on the spot, what did you think of that song? Well, I can't say much. Nothing really stood out to me enough to feel like it was notable. And that's kind of the issue with the album, is I feel like it's good, but it lacks some stuff that really jumps out. But the first half of the album does have a lot of moments like that. So it's kind of, half is super cool and then half is good. you know? Anyway, with that being said, let's get to rating this album. So Vile, what do you give this album?
I think this is a decent album by DevilDriver. Not their best, not their worst. I'm gonna give it a 5. It's kind of in the middle of the pack for me. I don't think there's anything that's too crazy about this album, but it's not bad. You can listen to the whole thing and enjoy the whole thing. There's nothing that's really a huge, massive stain that you just want to skip all the time or anything like that. So it's decent, but it's kind of just very middle of the pack for me, so I'm giving it a 5.
Well, I feel similar, but I think there are some actual gems on this album. I did add a few songs to my playlist. Like, I feel like this album does have stuff that will really jump out at you, but it's a little bit few and far between. So for me, I'm probably gonna have to give it a 6, because it's good. I think it's a straight up good album, but the great aspects and the aspects that are just kind of okay or good kind of just balance out to just a good album. Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's all we got for you today. 6 from myself and a 5 from Vile Self. Still a good album. We'd love to see your guys' opinions, so comment, tell us what you think. It's been a week since the album's release. Remember to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you guys are new. I'm TV Fish.
I'm Vile Self.
And we'll see you guys later.